Koernke is our guest for the next hour and 51 minutes. Bill Clinton came out and tried to say that Mark Koernke was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing. That's how worried they were about him. Mark Koernke helped mobilize much of the major militia movement we've seen in the last 15 years. He's been demonized. He was also run off the road by police and then put into prison for 7 years. And I have the squad car videos. Did absolutely nothing. They were basically trying to kill him, tried to frame him for a bank robbery. He had no criminal record. Of course, his family grew up right there in Dexter, Michigan, dad in the sheriff's department. And they admitted that later, but first said it was for bank robbery. And he got out of prison, I forget, I know it was in the last year or so. He's got his new book out in the Battle for the Republic series, part 1. He's also got new militia manuals. We'll tell you how to get those several times before he leaves us. We're also going to open the phones up to talk about a host of issues with Mark coming up in the next hour. But for the next 50 minutes, we're going to be talking as much as we can to Mark about a whole host of New World Order developments that are unfolding and moving very fast. The bank runs, Barack Obama announcing the 1 million man youth brigades with weapons to, quote, spy. Of course, we know that he didn't hatch that. He's just pushing it. That's already been set up. They're just going public with it now. Also, the huge development off the charts, never before seen. National Guard being called out by the governor for gun confiscation in Illinois under federal grants. Just calmly inserted in a newscast, an announcement on NBC News in Chicago. Huge news. And we've got articles right now up on prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com on that. Also, Ron Paul came out yesterday in a speech on the floor. We're going to be covering this later, where he said something big is about to happen, and he said our liberties will be taken. They want to launch this war for a police state and martial law. So Ron Paul's saying the hour is near. This is the maximum alert for everybody. This is the time to be warning people. The population is finally listening. That doesn't mean they know what's going on, but they're finally listening. They're not laughing. And so joining us in this dark hour is Mark Koernke. I want him on again next week as the dark times he foretold begin to unfold. Mark, it's great to have you back with us.
Thank you, Alex. And again, absolutely, in this situation, we have a watchman on the wall. Well, we've all been watchmen on the wall for a long time, but Ron Paul has been right in the middle of Barad-dûr. He's right in the middle of Mordor, okay? And as he and several other people have pointed out, they're seeing this firsthand. They know what's going on. So everybody out there listening, for those who were naysayers, we're going to do something right now. We told you so. Here's the thing. We've been under attack for a long time. The other side is getting, to a degree, impatient because they're getting old. Guys, we're outliving them. This is why they're going crazy. They're the ones that are in reaction mode. We're the ones in response mode. The difference? Reaction is knee-jerk desperation because of a lack of plan. Okay, response is where we understand the threat, we see what's going on, we have the working knowledge to deal with it, plus we have the working knowledge to deal with any problem that exists after we get rid of the buggers. This is what they're scared to death of. There is a whole bunch of people out here in the United States. We're not wild-eyed. We're not crazy. We have been specifically pointing at the problem. We have demonstrated the problem, and we have the solution in hand. Now, there are several things that are going to have to be done at the same time, Alex, and the most important thing is to be physically prepared. You know, we've talked about this. We have to deal with food, water, light manufacturing, the ability to take care of our people medically, and we have to be ready to fight to defend ourselves, and there are a lot of people in uniform who know this too. Now, here's the one thing the other side is making the mistake on, and you know what? Fine, let them do it. There are a whole lot of people in uniform who are absolutely against this. Now, I'm going to say something that I have had meetings with general staff officers. I'm going to do this publicly. People, their most common question at different times over the years, and this is in the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, and the Marines. Mark?
Will the people stand with us?
That's right. And all you out there listening, if you want to know what's going to make the difference between having liberty and not having liberty, go walk into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and look at the man or woman that's going to make the decision. It isn't going to be some silver magic bullet from, somewhere else.
You can't pass the buck. This is a personal decision. This is gut check time, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. And that's where we are. So where everybody listening, Right now, at this time, there are things you can do. Now, some of you are saying, well, I'm old. I'm almost 70. Guess what? You can drive a truck. Congratulations. You can operate a radio. You can be a medic. You can help it with the administration. Life's going to have to go on while all of this is taking place.
Congratulations. You can run information through enemy checkpoints.
That's right. There's 100 things that can be done to successfully defeat the enemy. They don't have enough bodies to do this without trying to puff the stuff up through the controlled media. Now, here's the thing. What you just heard about in Chicago, we had the initial clippings on that as it came through. Remember, they're not sending these troops to Baghdad as originally planned. They're shipping them to Chicago. Major shift in operations. Now,
I've always said that's probably where they're going to hit with a false flag.
Yeah, and again, one of the issues here, the tie-in with all of this, Alex, is, remember, the practice is overseas. What you see and everybody goes, oh, yeah, they're doing it to the Iraqis. Oh, yeah. People, they gave FBI, ATF, prison guards, local cops leave of absence for a year to work as a mercenary over there for $100,000 tax-free so they could practice busting skulls and torturing people the way they'd like to have the goofs do that over here.
And that's not our opinion. We got White House and Rand Corporation and other white papers on that, and we've written articles about it. They admit this is the big prize. And they created the murderous cadres over there, and they found out who was good, and they go, oh, get your shot. You know, the doctor doesn't even know. It's just a special shot for you where you get your soft kill weapon. You come back home and die. But the guys that said they'd torture and would run the 30-plus camps over there, they're all coming back here.
That's right. And here again, people wondered, how can they do this? Well, this is the mechanism they've used. Now, there's a lot of good soldiers and a lot of good men and women right now who are in uniform who are listening. And you've got to decide to use one two-letter word, no. We are not going to let America slip into the Soviet socialist mechanism that destroyed, that gutted both the work ethic, the economy, and the spirit of the Russian people.
But the globalists are masters at stampeding even intellectual people, even folks that know what's going on. They see a nuke go off. They say the Al-Qaeda did it. You've got to go do this. But then ask yourselves into the first week, why are we confiscating guns around this city and other cities? Why are we going after the people? Why are there big arrest lists? At that point, you know who the terrorists were. If there was ever any doubts, you know that when they're attacking the wrong target.
Well, a good interesting point. How many examples, think about it, Alex, do we have on video and audio where we were attacked with a plane with guys with box cutters, and immediately the argument was, we need to confiscate the guns. Absolutely had nothing to do with firearms, had nothing to do with the American firearms owner. In fact, to be quite honest, if an American firearms owner had been on the plane with a smuggled gun, if we believe the story that they officially gave, it would have been pop, 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 pop. Oh, you've got a box cutter too? Pop, pop. There we go. Game over.
Well, plus, Mark, who believes that on planes with 50-plus men and women, on average, was about 55, so let's say half of those, 26 or so are men. I mean, somebody pulls a box cutter on me, and I don't claim to be Mr. Macho. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. You
got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and you know something's going bad. And especially with understanding the history this is why, in fact, even with the no-fly list, Patriots are on the no-fly list for one reason, people, because American patriots would stop a hijacking. That's why American patriots are on the no-fly list. And when you look at Washington and you look at these goofs, understand they hate the American patriot because they are globalist parasites. These parasites, these succubus, these vampire, who look just as pasty as you'd expect and just as goofy-eyed. Look at the eyes of Bush. Look at the eyes of Gore. Now,
he looks like a ghoul. I mean, but my mother says they both look like vampires.
Yes, exactly.
And they're looking worse every day.
Or if you look at a shark, don't they look like that shark coming out of the murky water? As Don would say, he's been a diver for years. One of my other co-hosts, and great guy. He was a diver. He's seen sharks come out. He said they look just like they just look like a combination of a parasitic vampire and with the eyes of a shark, the bobble-headed eyes of a shark. Now, again, that's a minor point. They're so far away from the reality of the world and so far isolated that they're irrelevant, to be quite honest. They will be the ones who are going to press the button, so to speak. But it's you who are going to be the ground pounders on the line, people. We hold the real estate. Every person listening, if you're in Maine, Florida, Washington State, or Arizona, or California, people, you're standing on your country. This is our piece of real estate. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Arm yourself now. You want to vote for these people to explain to them how you feel? Reach into your pocket, pull out a handful of change and a dollar bill, and go right now when you go home or when you go to your lunch and buy 50 rounds of .22 ammo and make sure that you get it for a quote-unquote a rifle. Always tell them, oh, it's for a rifle. They always ask. If it's a pistol, you got to put paperwork down in some states. It's for a rifle. But everybody buy a 50-round box ammo with pocket change. Vote with your wallet. Explain to them that's 50 more rounds that we'll have available. It doesn't mean it's anything fancy, but every one of you got pocket change to do that with.